Hello readers, I'm Amy. Time for March's... There's a light there. Time for March's anti-haul. I'm saying anti-haul because this started off as being like, I'm on a book buying ban. I can't be buying any books right now. It's not in my budget for the year. So I'm going to look at books that are coming out and tell myself why I shouldn't read them. And in some ways, it's helped. I've looked into things that, like, how Winter's Orbit was compared to Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think that was one of the February releases. It's like, oh, maybe I don't want to read this book after all because it's going to be a romance. So in that case, it worked. But in other cases, like N.K. Jemison's Skin... something. It recently came out. It's a short story, and it was free on Kindle Unlimited, which my husband has. So, stuff like that, and then my library card has gotten completely insane. But point being, this is supposed to be a kind of anti-haul book chat thing. If you're excited about some of these books, cool. If you're not excited about some of these books, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and get started talking about what is coming out in March. I just took some screenshots from a bunch of different websites. Most of these should have the release date listed, and I also tried to take pictures of the plot summaries so I could talk about them a little bit. But first book I have here is Black Girl, Call Home by Jasmine Mans. This comes out March 9th. What initially struck me about this was, as is pretty typical with me, the cover. Specifically, you know, all those little barrettes that you had as a kid. I still have a picture somewhere. It's not online, but in one of my mom's old picture books. I remember this too. I was like 4, maybe 5, and my dad, patient, loving man that he is, let me put all of my barrettes in his hair. I thought he looked so pretty. And that's just what this cover reminds me of, seeing all the barrettes in the hair. And it's very striking and eye-catching somehow. Brings back memories. Anyways, this is a poetry collection, which initially I'm like, If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I am not a big poetry reader at all. Really shy away from it. The poetry that I do enjoy, I'm really picky about. I'll just say it, I like my basic bitch poetry. Instagram poetry is my thing. Rupi Kaur, Amanda Lovelace, I love it. It is so uncomplicated, and that is what I love about that poetry. I have videos on that. I can link them up above. I've gotten a lot of mean comments on one, so I tried to kind of talk more about it. But anyways, this I am actually interested in reading because it's not just poetry, it's written by a spoken word artist. And one of the ways that I got interested in poetry last year was that on my overnight shifts, YouTube started recommending spoken word videos to me. And there were a couple of videos that were just really caught me by the heart and ran away with it. I love spoken word. The things they have to say are so important, and they're not really like beating around the bush with a bunch of heavy metaphors or anything. They're saying it, but also the way that they say it is really striking. I love spoken word poetry. I'm not sure how spoken word will translate to written work since I haven't tried that yet, but I am very intrigued by this. It says she's a Black queer woman from Newark. She unravels herself, then puts herself back together via clear, precise language that brooks no argument. In the poem, Because I Am a Woman Now, the speaker wants the comfort of a lie, but knows that womanhood means facing truth in new, vague ways. There's also one, my screenshot cuts off before I find out what it's about, but there was apparently a poem called Mama Said Dyke at the Kitchen Table, and I'm like, I want to read that. Yeah, I'm going to see if this is going to be available at my library. I said it comes out March 9th. Spoken word has just really gotten me. If you are like me and you struggle with poetry at all, give spoken word a shot. Next book that I have, I'm talking about one specific book, but I'm kind of going to generalize it to a lot of March stuff that I found. Victoria Schwab's Bridge of Souls is coming out. I will not be reading this. I haven't read any Victoria Schwab. Not to say that I won't try her in the future, but she seems to be largely a YA writer, so just not someone that I'm particularly interested in reading. Not very high on my list, but this is book 3 in a series, and when I was initially looking through a lot of these books, there's also Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare, which is number 2 in a series. In looking through books, I found a lot of series are getting continued in March, so if you've been waiting on the continuation of a book series, check out March releases. What you're looking for might just be headed your way. Then we have The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This is also March 2nd. This is a debut novel. It's kind of, looking at the cover, it makes me think that it's like an Underground Railroad thing, being called Conductors, having the black woman in like the older style wear. Yeah, okay, here's the synopsis. As a conductor on the Underground Railroad, Hetty Rhodes helped usher dozens of people north with her wits and magic. Now that the Civil War is over, Hetty and her husband Benji have settled in Philadelphia, solving murders and mysteries that the white authorities won't touch. That's interesting. So it's gonna be like a magical realism book looking into murders that no one cared about because they were people of color. So that's gonna be a really important one. I might check that out. Based on the cover art, it might be more of a young adult book, so I'm slightly hesitant, but I will look into it. All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter. This also comes out March 9th. Orphaned as a young child, Marin O'Malley has been brought up by her grandparents on their isolated, rambling estate, Hobbs Hollow. Long ago, her family prospered due to a deal struck with the... How do you say that? The shortened word for mermaid. It's the mer, or the mare. The terrifying creatures who live in the depths of the sea. Safety for their merchant ships in return for a child of each generation. But for many years, the family have been unable to keep their side of the bargain, and their fortunes have suffered as a result. When Marin's grandfather dies, her grandmother puts in train a plan to restore their glory, but at the price of Marin's freedom. Interesting. It sounds like a darker mermaid tale, which is good. A lot of mermaid tales are really light, and I find I like the darker books, and Into the Drowning Deep was really interesting, being like a darker story about mermaids. This is a native release. Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bully comes out March 16th. Can we just take a minute? Yes, I realize that most of the books that I talk about on these anti-hauls, I choose because of the covers. But come on, can you blame me? Look at the lines and the color. It's got this butterfly thing going on. I love butterflies. Don't know if you know that, but like I was basically a hobby lepidopterist as a child. Freaking love butterflies. As a biracial, unenrolled tribal member and the product of a scandal, 18-year-old Donis Fontaine has never quite fit in, both in her hometown and on the nearby Ojibwe reservation. I think I said that mostly correctly. Donis dreams of studying medicine, but when her family is struck by tragedy, she puts the future on hold to care for her fragile mother. The only bright spot is meeting Jamie, the charming new recruit on her brother Levi's hockey team. Yet even as Donis falls for Jamie, certain details don't add up, and she senses the dashing hockey star is hiding something. So, that's going to be like a murder mystery, looks like. Maybe, again, seems like a slightly younger audience on that one, but I'll wait to see what people hear about it. This one also really struck me. A History of Scars by Laura Lee. I'm not seeing that I took a picture of the date for this one, but it should be coming out in March since I took a picture of it. It's a memoir, and History of Scars makes me think of my own scar. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link my scoliosis video up above. massive scar on my back. Everyone in high school thought it was awesome. This memoir explores in a series of essays the emotional scars we carry when dealing with mental and physical illnesses, reminiscent of the collected schizophrenias and an unquiet mind. I always think that I read The Unquiet Mind, but I read The Quiet Room, which is about schizophrenia. Unquiet Mind, I don't think I quite got into the writing style. And Collected Schizophrenias, I would have liked it more if I had different expectations going in, because I thought it would be more of a personal memoir, and instead it's more research on schizophrenia. But I would still be interested in this, I think. In History of Scars and Aluminum's Erosion, so I'm guessing they're essay titles, she dives headfirst into heavier themes revolving around intimacy, sexuality, trauma, mental illness, and the passage of time. Also talks about being geographically distant from her mother, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, who's relocated to a nursing home in Korea. So that's going to hit some heavy topics. There is a possible chance that Victoria, from what Victoria read, might be bringing Mental Health-a-thon back. I know it was hosted by Nicole from Beautiful Chaos of Books. She had to get off of BookTube for personal reasons, but it sounds like maybe Victoria is bringing it back, in which case History of Scars would probably be an excellent book to pick up for that, because it would definitely be out by May. So everyone cheer her on, because I really want that to continue to happen. American Bettia. I am not going to say this author's name, because I think even if I looked it up, I would butcher it. So just, here's the cover, here's the author name. Again, I don't think I took a picture of the release date, but I also have a lot of stuff popping up on the screen that's kind of like gotten in the way of my screenshot. I'm not sure I like how screenshots go on this phone. It's a story of a young artist grappling with first love, family boundaries, and the complications of a cross-cultural relationship. Cross-cultural relationship really catches my eye. So this is by an Indian author. Rainey Kelkar has never lied to her parents until she meets Oliver. The same qualities that draw her in, his tattoos, his charisma, his passion for art, make him her mother's worst nightmare. So that's kind of, you got like the forbidden relationship, which can be fun, but cross-cultural really catches my interest. And I don't know a ton about Indian culture. I know it's gorgeous and it's got gods and it's got the colorful, the like colorful parade thing, and Indian like artwork is gorgeous. So I'm interested. Again, it looks more like a young adult, but I might pick this up just out of curiosity. This one, again, the cover, because it's not like, it's a great bad cover. Like it's not necessarily a good cover, but it takes this idea and it runs with it. It's kind of a cheesy love story by Lauren Morrill. Again, did not take a picture of the release date, but this cover just, it knew the theme that it was going for. And this one I picked up on here, not because I'm going to read it, because I'm definitely not. It's a YA and it's a romance, neither of which I'm super interested in. But I know that BookTube is really interested in YA and in romance, and I think a lot of you would really like a book that's just called It's Kind of a Cheesy Love Story. It's a contemporary YA rom-com about love, friendship, and pizza. Perfect for fans of Becky Albertalli and Jenny Han. So since Jenny Han did To All the Boys, Hillary from Melted Books, you might want to read this one. That is the right author, right? Jenny Han wrote To All the Boys. I hope I didn't get that wrong. After her mother gave birth to her in the bathroom of a local pizzeria, Bet Brix has been given the dubious privilege of having minor fame, free pizza for life, and a guaranteed job when she turns 16, a job she unfortunately can't turn down. It just looks really, it looks fun. And reading that, I kind of started to talk myself into it. So I'm going to look for reviews on that one when it comes out. This one, I'm feeling hesitant on this. One Day, All This Will Be Yours. This is by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Now, I've read 2 of his other books. I don't know if they're the only 2 that he's written. The site that I'm took screenshots from. I'm just not seeing release dates. Anyways, he did Children of Time and what was that second one called? He did very long sci-fi books. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy about giant spiders on a planet that's being invaded by humans from space. And the first one was really, really great. And the second one, I still enjoyed it, but it felt repetitive. It was kind of a repeat of the story with slightly different creatures. I have videos on that I can link down below. And also Emily Fox is the one that inspired me to go and read those books, and she has a lot on her thoughts on those books. And I think she does a good job talking about them. So I think there's a huge chance that I will like this, but there's also possibly a chance that I'm going to feel like I've read it before. It doesn't look like it's part of the Children of Time series. It says nobody remembers how the causality war started. Causality war. That's interesting. Really, there's no one to remember, and nothing for them to remember if there were. That's sort of the point. We were time warriors, and we broke time. It's another thing that I'm just not sure on. I want to wait to hear reviews on this one. Time-related things, I'm very iffy on. I think that time changes and going back in time and time travel sort of stuff can be really interesting and really well done, but it's just one of those, every single time it's written, it has completely different rules. It's not a very regular book trope, so I'm hesitant. But I do know that I like Adrian Tchaikovsky's writing and storytelling, so maybe. It's probably also going to be another 600 to 700 page book. Those audiobooks were long. My Summers with a Serial... Oh, The Babysitter. My Summers with a Serial Killer. It's got this dark and foggy cover, which has me interested, and I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, but being stuck at home through COVID, I've binge watched a lot of channels that really just feel like they're keeping me company, and one of those lately has been Bailey Sarian and her Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Mondays. I will just go through so many of those episodes. It got me going down this true crime black hole in my reading. I actually read Helter Skelter, which I didn't think I was going to do at this point. So this is intriguing to me because I've been in a true crime mood. It's a chilling true story, part memoir, part crime investigation. I like the part memoir part. That'll bring some more personality into it, give it that personal touch. It's about a strange little girl longing for love and how she found friendship with her charismatic babysitter, who is also a vicious serial killer. It takes place in the 1960s. I would like to read that. I might have to. I'm sorry that I did not take pictures of release dates. I don't know what website I was getting these screenshots from. The girls are all so nice here. Two former best friends return to their college reunion to find that they're being circled by someone who wants revenge for what they did 10 years before and will stop at nothing to get it in this shocking psychological thriller about ambition, toxic friendship, and deadly desire. I am intrigued, again. It wouldn't be that interesting of a video if I just picked a bunch of books that I was absolutely not interested in. I have to have something to talk about. Forgive me. It's got the reunion thing and getting revenge for something that's long past, and it feels like one of those guilty pleasure, gossipy, drama-filled books that you sometimes just want to jump into. I don't know how good it's gonna be, but it just sounds like something fun. I'm not sure how I feel on psychological thrillers. I don't know that I've read a ton of psychological thrillers. I've read other thrillers. I've read horror. Psychological thrillers, I know I tend to sometimes usually enjoy as movies. I'm not sure how I would feel about that as books. It just sounds like something that would be more of a slow burn. All right, last book. We're going to wrap this up. It's, according to everything that I've told you in this video, I absolutely should not pick this up, but I absolutely will. That is Act Your Age, Eve Brown, book 3 in the Brown Sisters series. Yes, it's a romance. Yes, it's the 3rd book on a series of romances. And yes, you can bet that I am going to pick this book up. And I am going to read it, and I'm probably going to freaking love it. I am a contradiction, I know. But I think it was Victoria. I think I have to blame her for this because she was talking about the first one, Chloe Brown, and Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and it just sounded so interesting. It's like, you know what? I'll try it. And I actually really enjoyed it. I think what kind of gets me with these is that there's like actual diversity. This light. Stupid light. There's actual diversity in the Brown Sisters series, like black women falling in love with white men, with men of color. Some of these characters have disabilities or are struggling with their mental health. It's so layered, and yet it's still a romance book at heart. And I just feel like I shouldn't be enjoying myself as much as I am, but I am, and I am going to read Eve Brown, damn it. Just try and stop me. So that is going to be it for my little quote-unquote anti-haul of March releases. If you are interested in any of these, please let me know down below. Please like, subscribe, be my friend on social media. I will see all of you in my next video. Bye, friends.